Hello, I'm Jessie Hurley, and today I want to show you the layered stencils technique. Stencils are my favorite tool to use because they can be incorporated with a bunch of different mediums to get completely different looks. But for today's technique, we're going to be using a very open stencil, in this case the long-handled vase, and a background stencil. This is the Mosaic stencil by Dreamweaver Stencils. We're also going to be using Memento Ink Teal Zeal, Memento Pear Tart, and Memento Bahama Blue. The first thing we need to do for this layered stencil technique is to tape down our vase first, our open stencil first. And I'm using my removable tape so that when I take the tape off after, it's not going to rip my paper. I'm also using fairly long pieces because I want to protect my cardstock underneath in case I go over the lines. My background stencil is going to be layered on top, and it doesn't have to be perfectly straight up and down. Move things around until you get a design that you like best. I like the swirls in here, so we're going to go there. As long as the stencil underneath is completely covered by the overlay stencil, and there's no borders getting in the way, you'll be fine. I'm going to just tape that down as well temporarily so it doesn't move on me when I'm adding my color. And then I'm going to go in with my darker color first, my Teal Zeal. With my sponge dauber, I'm just going to tap in a couple of areas, no rhyme or reason, just kind of pouncing and twisting to get the color in through the stencil. Then I go to my lighter color, Pear Tart, and I use my lighter color to almost blend the darker blue or teal into the green. So sort of tapping and twisting. The stencil, being made of metal, will tear up your dauber over time. But because the stencils are layered, it's a little bit thicker. So I find that the sponge dauber, I can kind of press into the nooks and crannies better than I can with my stencil brush. Now I might have gotten a bit wild and crazy with my green there. So let's just go in and add a little bit of blue in a couple of areas, making sure that I've gotten everything. Okay. The next step is to remove that top layered stencil. Now if I leave that one tape on, I can hinge it and make sure that I've got pattern everywhere. And if I don't, I can drop the stencil back down, but I'm okay with it how it is. Now we're going to color the vase in, or the vase, as my husband would like to say. And in this case, I am using my flat stencil brush, but I'm keeping it flat to the ink pad and picking up as much color as possible. Then I go in a circular motion, and I like to stay around the edges. I don't actually ink the center of my vase. In a circular motion around the outer part of the vase, all the way around. I love inking stencils because it's a fast technique. If I need to whip up a card, it goes very easily, very quickly. But again, as I'm going around the edges, I'm leaving the center. I'm leaving the center white. Now, I'm going to take off, again, the 3 pieces of tape, leaving the top one on. Of course, because I'm filming, the bottom tape wants to hang on tight here. So that I can lift my stencil and see if I've covered everything. Or I can take it off completely and show you how beautiful that vase has turned out. Again, because I've only colored around the outer edge, the center stayed nice and white or softer, so it gives you the automatic dimension of a rounded vase. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.